My name is Carah Ronan, and I am a fifth-generation Montana farmer. Good thing about flowers is they take up a small footprint, so we can grow a lot of volume in our short growing season on that smaller footprint. So even though we're on 8 acres here, we're actually only growing about an acre of flowers right now. And the way that translates for us is making us a good living on 1 acre of actual growing space, and then we have the space then to expand going forward. It's one of those things I can't tell you exactly, pinpoint an exact time or date that we were like, oh, we need to check out those people called NRCS. I've kind of always really known about, I guess, like USDA programs and programs in general and how they can support farmers and agriculture just growing up in it and having that interaction through my grandparents or through my dad. When we decided to break ground and do this, we did build one high tunnel out of our own pocket because we had to get going and kind of get it started for the first season. But for our second season, we just went straight into the NRCS office and kind of went from there. They helped us fund our micro irrigation system, set up a new operation for running water from our pond and our pump house all the way back up here to get better usage of our water, and also windbreak.
The funding here for Rodi Farms for the high tunnels and micro irrigation systems came through Environmental Quality Incentive Program, and we call it EQIP. And so it's a farm bill program that has financial assistance for practice payments. We will work with the producer in order to come up with a conservation plan and look at their resource concerns that they have, and then the practices that will address those resource concerns. So here's season extension and then irrigation efficiency were identified as those practices or those resource concerns to be included in that plan. And so micro-irrigation will help with the irrigation efficiency, obviously, including a pump and a pipeline in order to supply that system. The high tunnels with the season extension are helping with plant productivity and health and to extend that growing season so that they can maximize the production of their crops here.
The high tunnel for us is huge help in season extension. A lot of what we grow in this hoop house, if we didn't have that coverage in that early season start, I don't know with our shorter growing season in Montana we'd be able to grow. Even the variable in difference in between this really great high tunnel and our homemade high tunnel, you can see a huge difference in just the plants. You know, our apple of Peru in here are close to 8 feet tall. Our apple of Peru in the other greenhouse are maybe 2 or 3 feet tall. So just that little added buffer of warmth. We grow a lot of warm season plants in here, so too vice versa. Some people are like, if it gets too warm, does that become a deterrent? But they're like the next round of what will be going in place of all the stock is celosia, and it loves the heat, and it prefers the heat. We did a trial our first year of field-grown celosia and hoop house-grown celosia, and the differences were night and day. Our field celosia was really short-stemmed and we couldn't harvest it as early. Everything in the hoop house, one plant was giving us 30 stalks that we could cut off of it. So really night and day difference.
So they have automated ventilation system where the curtains on both sides of the high tunnel are automated with the temperature control that they can set, and so the computer will tell it to either roll up the side in order to keep the heat in or to roll those sides down in order to allow that more ventilation to occur to keep the heat from accumulating too much. Plus also with the louver vent on the end of the high tunnel, they've added that in as part of that system too. And inside the high tunnel they have some fans that are also temperature controlled with that same system. And so it's a fully automated ventilation system on there, which really gives them that assurance to protect them against those extremes of heat that can accumulate really fast in these high tunnels. And then also it will shut the ventilation down in order to preserve that heat to hold them over on those cooler nights then too.
There's the added buffer on either side where you're staying a bit warmer even if you're not in a heated high tunnel, if you're just in a high tunnel itself. So you're getting that season extension. Last year we were harvesting all the way until the end of October when most folks were done at the beginning of October. So giving you a full extra month for us in flowers, that's a lot of volume. So that also changes your yearly output just in a month's time. So we worked with NRCS office mainly on helping us figuring out what we were going to do as far as the windbreak was concerned, as far as spacing, as far as best plants and practices for that. We decided on using juniper, chokecherry, and yellow willow in our more swampy marsh area, so that hopefully it'll be more sustainable long-term, also looking at water usage.
The windbreaks provide a couple of really good benefits. First, as the name would tell you, it breaks the wind, and it slows down the energy of the wind that they have here from the southern exposure that we see on this property here. And it'll break down and slow down that wind speed so that you don't have as much of a crop damage potential with those higher gust winds. But also the structures. These high tunnels are real susceptible to wind. You have to be careful about how much wind exposure and try to limit that as much as possible so that the structure itself it can become a big kite with the open doors and open ventilation on the curtains on the sides. If the wind gets in there, strong gusts of wind. So windbreaks are always a benefit to that in order to try to slow down that wind speed and that wind energy from doing damage. Carah's doing a great job, and it's just really a joy to be able to visit with her about her operation and see just in a few years what she's built this into, and then to hear her plans for the future. And it is a lot of work. These are very intense systems to grow, whether it's vegetables or flowers in these types of environments. You really have to be hands-on every day.